Hi Stamping friends, this is Kelly with Kelly's Creative Stamping. Welcome to week 4 and our final episode of the Petal Promenade Sweet Journal series. Today we're going to add some tags. We did one last week. We're going to do more of them this week. Plus we're going to add embellishments to the pages. And in the meantime, I've made extra pages that I'll be showing you today too. So let's get started. As I was putting things in my binder last week, they were still a little tacky from the glue and my rings got a little sticky. So if you just take and put some acetone on a soft cloth and rub right over that, it'll take the stickiness off of that pretty easily. Okay, so far we've done flip pages, pages with a side tuck, we've done solid cardstock, we've done the bottom tuck, we've done a full page pocket, and we've done a tag. Today, let me go back over those really quick, get my piles out here. And I have some that are still going to need spines here in a little bit. This was one of the tags that we did last week, and what I did was I just cut from this border paper. And remember, this is one that was part of one of our tuck spots. This was also part of that. And I just ran it up the tag, and I put the reinforcers. I did a pink reinforcer, and I cut a tag from the paper. I can't remember if I did that on the video or not. But all I did was cut a strip of the paper that I wanted the width, and I just raked it with my scissors several times. And what that does is it breaks up the fibers in the paper and will soften your paper and make it a little more pliable. So you don't want to do it with paper so much because you'll get a real curl. But with the cardstock, you can see the wrinkles in there where it's breaking up the fibers. And then I just added some glue to hold that in there. Now I did have to hold that in place quite a bit, so my fingers were pretty sticky when I was done. Now we can go back and we can add embellishments to that. I couldn't do it right away because my hang on a minute, I forgot my pokey tool. Okay, now this is the pokey tool or piercing tool from Stampin' Up! That is on the retired list, because what they are doing is they are switching everything over to our Pick-a tool. They've even, some people were disappointed a couple years ago when they retired the detail brush to get the little fine stuff out of our die cuts. And what they've done is in the new catalog there is a brush that will go on the end of this that will give you your wheel, your brush wheel, to get your clean out your dies with. So I love this one. This one's on clearance. It's only $4, I believe. But I'm going to take and unlock this one because I really prefer the tip as opposed to the paddle. And I'm going to go in here and pop one of these. Now, I don't always trust the glue on the back of those adhesives, especially for something that's going to get a lot of wear and tear and pull. And so I'm going to add a little dot of glue here over all-purpose. Now remember, it comes out white, but it will dry clear. We'll just put that down there. We've got a couple of seconds to position it where we want it before that glue dries. And there, now we have an embellishment on that tag that we did last week. And I had that one tucked into there. I did another one. This is with the metallic thread. And I see I'm not happy with how that one came off because it did literally come off. So what I would probably do in a normal, well, that one really frayed, didn't it? Let's get that to Probably help if I could get a hold of it with my fingers would help. Let's smooth it out. Okay. And I'm going to run that one through there again. And this is another one of those where this thread is not going to stay in place very well. So I'm going to double half hitch it. I made a loop, run my tail through, and give it a pull. And then what I'm going to do, and I'm going to lay this off to the side, is I'm going to put a little bit of glue here. I know this glue is not empty, it's just acting like it. If you let that come loose a little bit, put a dab of glue in there. I'm going to wind up emptying that, open the new one, I just see it coming. Let's get a new one here so we don't have to wait all day for glue, shall we? Whoa, now we have glue. Now we have glue. I'll put a little bit right there and see, it doesn't take much, but then when you pull the strings in here, it will pick up that glue and give it just a minute to set, and it will hold your strings in place. Okay, so there's that one. So that was the tag I had there. Now I've not embellished that one yet. And we have one of the things, this was from some of the clip-offs that we did for pages. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and fussy cut around this one. Nothing fancy. Just so I follow the shape of that greenery a little bit. And I could even come back in and take it out of the center as well. Just to give us the impression of that greenery. And it's going to fit right there. And do I like that one on there? I don't think I like that one on there. Well, I may come back and do that. Ooh, where I did this piece, let's run a piece of that. I have a whole pile of the cardstock trims from where we've done pages. So let's take and I'm just going to lop that off a little bit right there, leave an overhang. Put our glue on there. Gotta be careful, that glue's really spewing out now. I'll have glue everywhere. Let's just run that up a side. Notice I pulled the Mossy Meadow to match the dryer sheet. Will work to match the reinforcer that I already had on the tag. We'll cut that one off. It still needs something. So I try to do things in threes. So let's do 3 of our little, oh, let's do the diamonds. Let's do the diamonds on here. I do like those. And note that it doesn't take much of anything to add just a little something something to the tag. I'm going to come back here and kind of dab off the excess a little bit. And I won't put that back in the pocket right away or it's going to stick. But just that little extra something, then you've got plenty of room to write over here. So let's set that one in here at an angle. This one is where I did a larger pocket. Remember that full page pocket? We had 2 of those. I did 1 tag for this one. And I did the very vanilla cardstock on the back and the floral on the front so that it matched. And it's a different pattern than what I used on the inside pocket. But keep in mind, anytime any paper comes out in a suite, everything is going to coordinate together. So it really doesn't matter. You can mix and match the patterns and you're going to be fine. So we can put that one back in there, but I think we need something here. And I'm really liking this copper. So let me see if I can find a scrap of that copper. Just a little too short to be a belly band. And I think that one's going to be too short for a belly band. I have full papers here somewhere. Did I not bring them with me? Maybe not. Hang that thought. I did leave them laying over on my work table. This is what we have left. I have left from the 2 packets. I have 2 full sheets of this, 2 full sheets of this, 3 full sheets of that. And this is the one that also has the copper on the back. So do I really want to cut into that copper is my question. Because it's the only one of that copper. No, I got 3 of those. Yeah, we've got 3 of those. So we can spare one of those. Now our page here is just under 6.5 now that we have that on there. 5 3/4. So let's cut a strip of the copper. 5 3/4. And then let's cut it, let's cut it 2 inches. Yeah, let's cut it 2 inches. And I'll show you why we're doing that here in just a second. I should have cut it a little bit wider because it would have been easier to trim that off, but that's okay. We're going to use the scoring tape on this one. And we're just going to put it on the ends. Remember, wheel to the left. Now I did notice I've got another brand of the scoring tape, and I noticed that the scoring tape is the same width as the paper. In which case, if it's exactly the 1/4 inch and it goes tape all the way across the paper, it really won't matter whether your wheel is left or right. That's okay. Now we're only putting it on the ends. And I know I'm in the process of getting ready to totally empty out my office and do a redo here because I'm going to be opening my Etsy shop in a few weeks. So I'm trying to get organized. But we're only putting the tape on the ends, and we're going to add something else to this too, not just the copper. And we're going to place that in the middle, and then this becomes what they call a belly band. And we'll go back here with the bigger scissors and trim this off like that. And then that needs a little something. Any clue what we want to do there? Let's add, I don't think I want to add this color. I think I want to add the mossy meadow. We'll see, because what are we going to add across there? Oh, let's take, no, we're going to save that one. We're going to save that one. Let's use one of these, and I want to use a trimmer because I want to cut these straight. Oh, perfect. Let's cut this one off here. And then come back with our detail scissors that I didn't bring with me. And let's go ahead and cut this one off here. And this won't take long once I get going here. These are my larger scissors, so I didn't bring my paper trimmers over here with me, and I probably should have. I tried to have everything ready to go. This morning started off really hard. I slept good last night, but I got up this morning and I was tired. The weather is damp. We're still getting rain. We had over 1.5 inches last night from 10 o'clock until this morning. And I think they said on the news last night, we are 7 inches above our rain for the year. Every time it rains now, all of the low water crossings flood. And for those of you who don't know what low water crossings are, out here in the country, we have roads that are a little bit low. They have little dips in them. And when it rains, and it rains too much, the overflow from the fields has to go somewhere. And the water runs off the roads, runs from the fields, fills in the ditches alongside the road, and then the next thing you know, it's over the road. And we always say, turn around, don't drown. We had one guy up in Cassville, Missouri last week when it flooded in Berry County. He could see the road, so he thought it was safe to cross. Never mind the fact that that low water crossing went across a creek, and although he could see the road and chose to drive over it, the water was almost 2 feet deep, and a car will float in 2 feet of water. His car is still sitting in that swollen creek upside down, and he got out safe. He's fine, but the car is still sitting in that swollen creek. Got an extra long one here. I think I want to put that one there, just to give that a little bit of an anchor. Let's do that. Before or after I throw it on the floor and then roll over it with the office chair. I have one of my cats down here with me today, and I'm going to clip this off. Give me a little bit of extra room and I know I've got to run that. The neat thing about this multi-purpose glue is you can just squiggle a line, and when you press that down, it's going to squish and it's going to spread out. Or if you drop it upside down on your work table, then it's really going to squish out. So you can run it down through the center, and then when you press it out, it spreads out to your edges. And that prevents you from getting glue spreading out from underneath your edges when you put it too close to the edge. And then we're going to put this one. Now this one here, I'm just going to run a little bit on the edge. And I probably could have done the tear and tape, but I think the glue will hold just fine. And notice I just put it on the ends and across the bottom. And then we'll anchor that down. And I'm going to have to come back. And let's see, that one's right there. Run that glue right there. Yeah, my fingers are getting sticky because I didn't bring a wet wipe over here with me. I've been wiping everything down with a dryer sheet that was laying over here. Okay. And that gives us, I'm going to do this gently because this glue is not dry yet, but we've got our big tag here. Then it gives us a pocket here and a pocket there. So we've got 3 pockets now on this one page. Okay. This one is going to need a spine. And I was playing with it. I'll put that one together here in a minute. Let's put this one together first. I started out with a 6.5 by 8 inch sheet. And then I cut 3 strips, relatively 6.5 by 2 inches. And then I tore the edge. And in a minute I'm going to show you the difference on tearing. But I brought these along. This one's a full 2 inches, and I'm going to layer it down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to tuck this one underneath as a breakup. And then this one underneath as a breakup. Now I can do this 2 ways. I can glue those down flush, or I can give myself 3 pockets. And I wanted to do the pockets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my bottom one. And again, the tear and tape would have probably worked too. Maybe I'll do it on the other 2. While we're letting this one dry. Okay, this one is going to go in the middle. And I'm not going to glue I glued this one on the bottom, keep papers from going out, but this one I'm not going to glue on the bottom, just on the sides, so that as I go up, my tags can, whoops, that one doesn't go there. I put it on the wrong side. Let's clean that one off and see if we can salvage that one. Because I wanted that rose gold, or that petal pink to show. This away. There we go. Let's go this way. And we're going to squeeze that one down underneath. That would be a good reason not to use the glue, because if I'd used the tear and tape, then I couldn't have slid these underneath. And then this one puts this dark cabbage rose up against there. Come on, get in there. There we go. And while you wouldn't need to tear these pages, it does add some texture. Now, if I was using any of the other colors other than what came in the kit, I could go back with this and I could dust those edges with, say, our early espresso, Sahara sand, give them an aged look. But since all the papers in this are white anyway, I'm okay with leaving them as they are. And then let's take one of our spines here. My fingers are incredibly sticky. Put this down, burnish, tear. And the neat thing about tear and tape is you don't have to have scissors to use this stuff. It tears very easily. Sometimes it tears easier than you can get a hold of the plastic on the end. Okay, there's that. And there's our 1/4 inch right there. I've got a little bit of glue up in the top corner of this by the glue bottle, and I'm trying really hard to make sure I don't stick the project in that glue. And then I always burnish my tear and tape down, so it makes sure I get a good adhesion with the glue. And that will help secure that edge. There's our template. There's our ink pen. Now I want to see something. I did notice, and you wouldn't have thought so the way I measured this, but the holes line up differently. Okay, so this needs to be the top. I found myself flipping some pages around when I was putting them in the binder the other day, and I really hated doing that, but since the holes didn't want to match up, it was kind of, a paper punch would be handy. I have been working on my ABC Junk Journal Challenge, trying to finish it up. And so a lot of my tools are still over on my work table instead of here on my filming table. I got my new Archon camera mount in last week, and I've not had a chance to put it to use. Check it out, even unpack it and get it out of the box. So when I do, that thing is portable and I can put it wherever I want to in the office and I'll be fine. So there's those pages. I'm just going to slide them in here under the binder out of the way for now. Okay. I talked about tearing paper. And let's see. I did this one. This was going to be my bottom. Then I was doing that one in the middle. Okay. I want to use a piece here that is different. Let's take and tear this. Okay. If you tear paper with your paper in your left and your right, and you tear with your right hand towards you, you're going to get the core of your paper showing through. If you tear away from you with your right hand, or tear forward with your left hand, then you get the finished edge. So two totally different looks. And I'm going to tear this one away because I think that the pattern will show up better against that rose gold or copper patterned paper as opposed to the white against it. So this one we're going to tear everything away from us so that we just get the texture but not any additional color. This one I want to make sure I get pretty deep pocket. I cut it kind of narrow. I think what I did was I initially used a scrap. Okay, and then this one has this white. I'm going to go ahead, let's try it this way. I'm going to tear it skinny. So if I don't like it, I can go back and do a white tear with it. Okay, I like that one. Yeah, it gives it more of a finished edge. Okay, so remember we're only going to the side, and I'm going to go backwards this time, and I'm going to put this first one down first. Let's see, if this one's going to go here, this one's going to go here, so this one can go about here. And remember, I'm not putting anything in the bottom because then my tag can go all the way down to the bottom. And that'll give me some layering in my tags. So I'll put this one here, glue it on the end, layer this one up. And then this is our final one, and this one we will glue on the bottom because we don't want our stuff falling out the bottom of the pocket. And this is going to be the last one of these that I do. I'm going to show you a couple of extras pages, and then we're going to move on to a couple of new things about actually decorating our pages today, not all about tags. So then that gives me that one. Okay. I did some of these. I was in the mood to just add some bulk to this, so I did more of the flip pages, pocket pages. Now we can either do this to flip open and close like this and have something written underneath here, or we can glue at the top and we can create a pocket. We're about to get help, so hang in there. So these were cut at 8 by 8 and then scored at 6 inches. Should have scored them at 6.5, but I wanted the 2-inch pocket. So I have 4 of those. This one I only scored at, this one I think I scored at the 6.5. So I have 4 of those pages cut for cardstock that I will do page burners on and add extra pages to the book. Tabby, you're going to dump things. This one I did and then realized that we had done a couple of these. These were done at 10 by 6.5 and then scored from the bottom on the 10-inch side at the 8. So they come out being the 8 by 6.5 with bottom tucks down here. Tabby, you're making a mess. So I have those 3. And then I did some solid pages. I did 3 solid pages, one of each one, and we did these last week of just the cardstock. Now I did this because I don't want the cardstock color on both sides. So here's what we're going to do. These were the 8 by 6.5. And I want to add a pop of color to these. And let's see, what have I got? Where did I put my full sheets? There they are. Now all of our full sheets that we have left have pattern stuff on the back, and I'm okay with that. I don't want that color. That color. Let's go ahead and do this one. Tabby. This is Tabby. And she's moving. She just doesn't know it yet. Thank you, girl. I knew I should have shut the office door when I came in here, but she was sleeping when I came in here. I did not think I'd have any problems. Okay, before I cut this to fit the cardstock, I want to cut this off because I want to preserve these borders. And in a minute, you'll see why. Make sure I'm getting the borders and not cutting into that pattern. So I'm going to flip that around and cut the pattern off. And reserve those for trims. Okay. Now, I'm going to cut this at the 6.5 by the 8. And then, I'm going to line up the opposite points in my cutting track. So that one is at the top, this one's at the bottom. Now they don't have to be exact, and I'll show you on another page how we do that. But for now, anytime you're cutting, where's my pointer? Anytime you're cutting into a point, your blade is going to naturally catch. So if you go down and start in the middle of your paper, go one direction, and then come back the other direction, you won't have that problem. It won't catch. And then, let's see. And I should have cut that the other direction. I knew I should have. Oh well. We'll do it this way. We'll save that one for later. And our tear and tape. There it is. And I'm going to put this on the bottom and the long side, leaving the diagonal side open. And now there's probably cat hair in my project. But I love her. She's such a sweet girl. She started out as a timber kitty. We don't know where she came from. Just one day a couple of years ago, the grand girls were out wandering, were out in the yard playing, as always. And the next thing I know, there's this little gray kitty following them around the yard. Don't know where she came from. I do know that we watched her for a couple of days and she would come and go through the timber. And then she just quit leaving. She was back here every day. Of course, it didn't help the fact that, the girls, Grandma, can we feed her? Well, yeah, I suppose. Give her some of the cat food give her some cat food. Make sure she's got water. And the next thing you know, we had a kitten. And I was okay with that because just a few weeks prior to that, earlier in the summer, right after the girls arrived, somebody dropped off a whippet, which is a cousin to the greyhound. And Adrian named her Candy. And she was just a precious little dog. Bundle of energy. And now that that's got my green cardstock on there, I'm probably going to wind up having to put glue down. Bundle of energy. Typical greyhound actual capabilities and energy level. Ran like the wind. But I swear to God, that dog had been starved. She would eat the bird feed. I could not put bird feed out for my birds. She would eat it. Didn't matter if she had just cleaned up her food. She would eat the bird food. And she was running off my birds. And while she thought she was a lap dog, I really couldn't have another dog. So we instantly, as soon as we realized we were not going to find an owner for her, we set about finding her a no-kill shelter to go to where they could find her a home. And it took us all summer to find her a no-kill shelter. In the meantime, Adrian was going out every morning and working with this dog. She had Candy to where she would sit and not move while Adrian threw the ball, and she would not go after that ball until Adrian told her it was okay. Mind you, Adrian was only 9, and she was training this dog. But she knew from day one we couldn't keep this dog, and it just broke her heart when we had to let her go. So the day after Grandpa took Candy to the no-kill shelter in Illinois, the girls were wandering the yard totally lost because they didn't have Candy to play with. And in comes this little gray kitty. And I'm a strong believer in that Mother Nature sends me animals for a reason. And while I already had 2 cats, I thought, it's okay, we can have an outside kitty. We're fine. We'll let her stay. She will become the girls' cat, even though the girls are not here all the time. Because at the time, they were living in Washington State. And we didn't know at what point they'd be back. So the cat stayed. And has become a permanent member of our family. And she thinks she's my cat. If she's not in the same room with me, she has to ask why. And come find me. We named her Tabby. Bob has since named her Tabitha. So, you know, like she doesn't need any more complex. Okay, so this actually goes this way. And the reason I did that was because I didn't want to put the spine over here and cut this off. I put it over here. So this will be one page. It'll flip this way. And now I've got this whole side pocket here. And I'm not going to take time to do it on camera because, you know, the fussy cutting takes time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fussy cut this out like we did for that one tag. And I'm going to lay it along this edge and provide a little bit of decoration there. Now, not done yet. This up here looks a little bare. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in with, let's do this one. No, that one's chopped off. Let's do one that's not chopped off. I really like this big rose on this one. So let's take this, cut this out, get rid of that. And what I want to do is I want to get as close to this as I can. And I think I'm just going to, even though it's cutting into the greenery, I'm just going to cut into the greenery just like that. Just cut as close to that, making it as much of a square as I can. It's almost too big for that, isn't it? Let's make that into a tag. Let's put that on a piece of cream. As soon as we can find a piece of cream that's big enough. This one might work. Yeah, that'll work. Let's do that. Let's zip this around. And notice, see, I'm not going all the way to the edge because when I do, it's going to squish out. That corner, well, one corner may even squish. And I'm going to put this down here where I'm not working, so if any glue squishes out, it's not up here in my work area. And then I'll put it back up here in frame really quick. Yeah, let's just give it a little bit of... Okay. And then I've got a little bit of that showing around the outside. So what that does is it now gives us a place to journal here, and it gives us a full back to journal here. And let's corner round the bottom part so it'll slide in and out of the tag easily, and out of the pocket easily. Like that. And then later I'll come back and add this piece here. And while that tag's a little small, there'll be room to put other stuff in there. I still like this, and I still may go back and fussy cut just this part out. Do I have one of those? I do. Because I still really like that flower. And I still really think this corner up here needs something. Have you figured out that this video is not going to be a short one? Some days, but this is how the creative process goes, where you just, sometimes it's just knowing how the thought came together. Just that little oomph up there in the corner to break up that green. I like that. And when you think that a paper isn't made for fussy cutting, give it a shot. You may be surprised. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue. Spread that glue around a little bit. And then I'm going to lay that right up into that corner as tight as I can get it on that side. There. I like that. And then when I come back and fussy cut this one, I don't think either of those two pieces are going to work. You know what? Let's do this really quick because I really want you to see the finished page here. And it's not going to take long, just a little bit longer with these bigger scissors than it would if I had my fussy scissors over here. But I don't want to lose all of the dimension over here either. So I'm just turning my paper. I love this pattern. I would take an entire sheet of just strips of this border and be perfectly content. Okay, I don't want to lose anything there. That's okay. I would love to have an actual garland of this above the windows in my craft room. Okay, now let's take how far up this is going to go. This is going to go all the way to the point. We're going to go pretty much up to the top. So I guess we might as well go ahead and finish fussy cutting it out and see where it lands. We can always trim it off. And that really didn't take long to cut, I guess. Not as long as I thought it was going to be. So Monday, we were able to order the Everything is Rosy kit. My kit will be here Monday, and I will have time to play with that and get a supply list posted. I'll get a beginning video up. The Everything is Rosy and all of our journal classes from now on are going to run on Fridays, because I can post just the Festive Friday card without a lot of description if I need to on the blog. And Saturdays are going to become Scrapbook Saturdays. And I'm going to start doing scrapbook layouts in multiple forms. Not all of them will be YouTube videos. For the most part, most of them will just be shown on the blog. But the Everything Rosy kit came in. So next Friday, there will not be a process video. I will do the introduction to the kit, show you what we got in the kit that we're going to be using and what extra items you may want to have on hand. We're going to be playing with paint in the next journal. I'm also going to have a freebie for you that when you order the Everything is Rosy kit, you will have the option of choosing a embossing folder. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't cut that because it's going to go all the way to the edge. So rather than try and put the glue here, I'm going to run the glue right along the edge here and just let that strip catch it. And we're going to go like this. And press. My fingers are getting so sticky. I'm going to use my bone folder here to press that down into the glue. And there is another page for the book. Now see, when we flip it over, we got a little bit of corner issue here. We can trim that off. Not a problem. So it'll go this way, and then a tag pocket there. Okay, so there's that one. We had the cardboards, we had that one. We did that one. Oh, one more to talk about. Here it is. In the front of our book, most books should have a book plate. So I've created a book plate, and what I did was I created just a sheet from my choice of the pattern paper, and I just really love this one. It just looks so soft, and that's all it is just the front and the back, and I'm not going to do anything else to that page except we're going to make a book plate for here, and I've come up with 3 different designs. This one uses the detailed leaf punch out on the detailed trio punch. And this is cut 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. Then I punched out the corners. And then from Very Vanilla, I punched out 2 by 3. And it will fit right in there. So that's one option. Another option is with the corner rounder. And this is 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then I've used the corner rounder to round the corners. And the vanilla is 3 1/2 by 2 1/2. So just 1/4 of an inch smaller. And it can go there. So there's a second option. And then I have this one is just a 3 1/2 by 2 1/2. Then I took a 3 1/4 by 2 1/4, which means they're 1/4 inch smaller. And then I used the 1/2 inch circle punch and just came in and nipped out the corners, and we've got that one. So we have this one. Oops, let's lay it down here. It was number 3 on the list. We have this book plate, this book plate, and this book plate. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue the book plate pieces together. I've not decided which one I want. I'm leaning towards this one, but I also like this third one too with the notch corners. I'm going to do that down here off my space where I'm not getting glue where I don't want it. And try and line that up. Okay, so there's that one. And then there's this one. Now with book plates, you know, they are this book belongs to. You can leave them plain, or you can add a bit of embellishment. Now with this top one, I could have chose to round the corners on the Very Vanilla, but I like the way the point of the corners lined up with that center leaf. Okay. Now, we could. Thing of it is, on this one, when you're embellishing your pages, be creative and just make use of your cutoffs. So these were left from pages that we've cut apart. Even one of these by themselves, and do a square one. Let's do that one. Let's try one of those. These are 3 inches by 3 inches. So we want to cut a piece that is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So that it's got that 1/4 inch border. And I want to trim this one down really close. And I don't trust to do it on the trimmer. I want to do it with my scissors so I know that I'm getting right up against there. As close as I can get without cutting into my image. Probably not straight, but I'm going to try. Okay, this one needs to come off just a little bit more for my own sanity. And you can make several of these versions. Try them out and see which one you like. And whatever one you choose not to use for your book plate, decorate one of the pockets in the book with it. You're not out anything. So there's that one, and then there was the dark one. And I know I've got pieces of that one. Here's this one. The thing about the dark one is you can't get up really super close. And you could almost use it without a border if you wanted to. But I'm going to go ahead and nip this one off. I've got a couple of techniques I'm going to show you really quick using the ribbon. I'd almost forgotten that one until I saw the ribbon hole on here. Okay, now I think I would like this one on the Mossy Meadow. And this one comes out to be 3 3/4 by 2 3/4-ish. So I want to do this one 3 1/8 by 4. 3 1/8 by 4. Did I measure that one right? Yep, 3 1/8. 3 1/8 by 4. Oh, that one was just almost, didn't need cut at all. And let's make sure of how it's going to lay out first. And this one, I'm going to want to go through because we rounded the corners on that. So let's round the corners on this one first before we glue it into place. We are coming out with another tag punch in the new catalog that I'm really excited about. It will, where we've got the one that does the dovetail trio, now we're going to have one that does the decorative scallop top on a tag. So we can scallop the top and dovetail the bottom with 2 punches from our line. There we go. So there's always that one, and you know, this might look better if you used a different background on this and not so much the pink. I personally prefer the petal pink with that. Could even do a second layer on here and do this one underneath to go against there if you wanted. Or in reverse, break this one up by putting the petal pink underneath. Lots of things you can do with that. So there's our, and I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. I'll know when I finish putting the book together. It's one of those trial and error things that make creating fun. Okay, let me see here. I know I wanted to add a ribbon to a page. Get my pages here that are got stickies all over them. So there's my openings, pockets, plain pages, tags, more to play with, more bling, pages, and I'll pull those out and finish putting them together here in a minute. I want to make sure I've got all the other stuff. Let's do this one, I think. And I have a purpose. I want this one. And, yeah. I didn't test this one out first, so let me make sure this is going to work first. Yeah, this one goes straight. Okay, and I think I can bend this one this way. I think the ribbon's going to be wide, so let's see if we can. Okay. Might if I was going the right direction. Oh, because it's up against the edge, that's why. Okay. So I really wanted to do a ribbon, woven ribbon with this one. And I wanted to do it on this one. Okay. Let me me try one more technique here that I think will work. I'm going to use something a little wider here. And let's say we want to space the ribbon 1 inch. Let's see, let's start there and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's go every inch. 2, 3, 4, 4, 4. Okay. I think it'll work if we go this way. Because I want to center, let's see. See my little mark right there? I don't know if you can see it. I got the little mark right there. I'm going to set my punch just so it goes to the bottom of that, and then I'm going to come back in and go the other side, like that. I think that will work. Where's my ribbon? Oh, yes, we will. We're in business. Okay. The mark on the paper is going to come to the bottom edge of the punch. Then when I come back, I'm going to put this part of the hole, this side of the hole, up against this side of the punch. So I'm punching from the right side to the left side. And that's going to give me a double circle punch, and I can always come back in the center and clear that up like that. So we're going to do 3 or 4 of these. There, there, and clean out the hole. So see, you don't need a fancy punch to do what you want to do most of the time. You just need to sit and play for a minute. That's and I call her my stepmom loosely. Grammy was my stepmom, but she was mom. There was no other word about it. And she's the one that taught me to craft. And I can remember her sitting here at the dining room table and thinking, okay, give me a minute to think this through. And she would sit there and she'd chew on the tip of her finger while she was looking at what she wanted to create. And it always worked. Okay, so now that we know that's going to work, let's take one of the cardstock ones that I did, and we're going to mark this about 1/4 inch in. And if you're using a wooden ruler, if you use one side here of your inch, you can line it up. And let's start at the 1/2 inch mark and go to the next 1/2 inch mark. 1/2 inch mark, next 1/2 inch mark. 1/2 inch, next 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch, next 1/2 inch. Whoops, 1/2 inch, not the 1/4 inch. So that one's going to show. Okay. So we're going to go through and we're going to punch those out just like that. And this won't take but a second here, now that we know where we're going with this. And I think I went to the wrong side of that one. I did. So I got to back up and go in reverse on this one. Now, if I'd have done this drew me a line to follow first, I'd have been better off, because I know these are going to be off. That's okay. Journals do not have to be perfect or pristine. And ribbon will hide a multitude of sins, let me tell you. Okay. And then we're going to take our ribbon and we're going to start by feeding it through the back side first. And this one I am going to put a piece of, okay, who moved my tear and tape? I am going to put a piece of the tear and tape up here. Glue will just be too, it won't hold fast enough. So I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape there and burnish it in good so that I can take and stick my ribbon through the hole, and I'm going to secure it. You know what? Let's do that backwards. No. Let's go this way. I should have done that. Should have started at the bottom, worked my way up. So let's go down here and let's cut a healthy length off. We can always come back and use it to tie a bow or something somewhere. So I should have started at the bottom and wove up, but I didn't do that. Okay, and then it's just a matter of, and if you take and cut your end of your ribbon at a diagonal, it acts like a needle, and you can feed it through. I'm seeing all this mossy meadow green. It's going to look pretty in homemade paper this summer. I'm looking forward to doing homemade paper with the girls. Abby is going to throw pink sparkle into everything. I just know she is. She's my pink girl. With Adrian, it's kind of hard to tell. Sometimes she likes purple and complement her sister. Sometimes she likes blues. But she also loves working in the garden, so she may go with garden and floral colors. Who knows? I let them create whatever combination they like. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and put another piece of tear and tape on that end. Wasn't supposed to use those scissors. Those are my ribbon scissors. Right there. Burnish it in good. If you burnish it in, it makes it easier to get a hold of that little bitty piece of paper. And then we can go back and trim that ribbon back. And then we have a tuck. So let's go ahead and put a and see, it doesn't have to be anything extravagant to create an addition to a page, to add interest to a page. See, and I didn't burnish that one, and I'm trying to pull tape up with the paper. There we go. I feel like I'm going to lose stuff off this counter. And when I get this one done, I'm going to go ahead and put things in position, and we'll get a better idea of what we're missing here. Remember to burnish. So oh, I must have scored that one a little tight. But you know what? It's fixable. Where that was starting to rip, number one, it's going to seal there fine, but if it really bugs you, you can always go back and do a little bit of glue to seal that together, or you can put a piece of Scotch tape across there. And then let's mark our holes. The other thing I didn't do on the other one, where did I just do my template? Because I didn't cut my corners on that other one I put in here. Put my ribbon scissors all the way over to the side, so I'm not grabbing a hold of them by mistake. Okay. Then I will come back and put things on these. What I want to do is come in here and see where we are with our pages. Those need a border. That needs a corner. Okay. The cool thing about some of these, and I'll show you in a minute which ones I mean, but we've got this page that will have our, I'm just going to slip one of these on here for now for weight. We have our page there. we have one of our big pockets with a big tag and a belly band and a pocket. Let me show you something on pockets. See, that's not very deep, but it would hold a little something, say a ticket type thing. And then there's one of our tears. I have some sheets over here that are just square. And then one of our pockets, and we added the bling to that one. I do realize on the ones that borders that I put on today, spines I put on today, I've got to go back and put the holes in. Here's one of our full pages. One of our little tuck spots. And then this is one of those where you've got ready-made things back here where you could use a circle die cut to cut out a picture and put a picture in the center. Also journaling spots. Also work there. Here's one of our flip pages. And I'm going to show you another journaling thing here in a minute. Another pocket. This is another big tag pocket. I need to do a tag for that one yet. Another solid. This one had the tuck, and again, journaling for here, and bare space on the back to do something with. Another one of our just solid cardstocks, and our flips. Let's put our ribbon page in here. Okay. We still have lots of pieces we can play with. I have punch outs stuck to my... You can add these to just about anywhere. The one on the ribbon you can leave like this, or you can glue the ends for tuck spots. I think I'm going to turn that one into a tuck spot really fast because it will prevent from seeing the things on the back. Find the end of my tear and tape here. And it will help also secure that ribbon on the end. And I hope I'm still recording. I do not want to have to go back and re-record this part there. When I get my Acron set up, I'm going to do these live, and if somebody wants to join me, fabulous. If not, at least I'll be able to see when I'm not in frame or if my video cuts out. Okay, so we've got that tuck spot. Now here's something else with tuck spots. If you like me and prefer lined paper to write on, index cards are a godsave, and they're really inexpensive. You can have writing on the side, and you can put this one, decorate this one on the back. Not quite big enough, but we have plenty of cutoffs here. Let's just take and run glue. Okay, trying to stay in frame here. Let's take and run glue around this. And let's do the flower on the back side of that one. So we'll just take and squish this up into the corners, line it up with the edges of that cardstock, or that paper, and then come back. Let's see, I've got a little bit of wriggle room here, and that's good because I need to scooch that just a hair. It won't turn loose of me. There we go. Okay. Now I'm not going to show you everything to do with this journal because I want you to take the remnants of what we have left and play. So we have this on the back side, and then we have a spot there to write on, and it's got lines. And I can't find center to save my life. My father-in-law would tell you that it just wasn't possible for me. He used to laugh every time I'd cut into a pie because I could never find center of a pie or a pizza or anything. So lines are important for me if I want to write straight. One of my daycare kids, I don't know if you've seen on Pinterest the little plastic template that's got the lines for addressing envelopes, so you're addressing the envelope straight. And one of my daycare kids, who's a dear friend of mine, still after all these years, she's 22 now, sent me the link to that Pinterest picture because she knew that I couldn't write straight on anything that didn't have lines, and she just knew that was the perfect tool for me. So it's not just me. People know that I don't write straight. Okay, so we've got flips. We've got solid pages to go in and decorate. We have lots of trim pieces left that we can go back and create borders on the sides, do more diagonals. Lots of things to play with. This one, it's got a cut apart, but we've got the... If you've got other punches, punch out other shapes that you can use. This one already has places to write notes. Maybe you've got quotes on a Pinterest board. This would be a great place to print out and punch out those Pinterest quotes and put them in here. And then you've got a tuck spot here. Again, another place for either adding a corner tuck. That was the other thing I wanted to show. Let's do one of these. Maybe I've got one cut out over here. I do. This is another one of those that creates tucks. It's called a corner tuck, and all you do is you add your adhesive to a top, or I mean a bottom. And then, so if this is going to go this way, this is the side I need the tape on. Again, remember we've talked about, I can't stress enough, you need to know your orientation of things before you put your adhesive down, because some of these, once the adhesive's down, that's it. There's no moving it. So we'll take this off and this off. I knew by putting these pages together, I'd remember the other things I wanted to show you, because, a script, really, not something I use. I probably will use one more in the next video because there are things I don't want you to miss, that I don't want to forget to tell you. So then we've got that. And let's use another one of those. I hate that. I mean, I don't like using that one. What can we use? Let's use this one. And let's cut it 3. Can we get a 3x4 out of there? Yes, we can. Woohoo! Love when that works out. As soon as we get the sticky off. And remember, this was the edges we tore off. Let's add that. Let's add that to an edge of this tag and create a little bit of interest and color. See, we tore that off. Don't throw it away. You can put it to use. Add a little bit of color. Just like that. Okay, so there's another tuck spot. This one would be a good place to run this, but I'm not gonna fussy cut this one out this time. Let me come back and do that. It just needs a little something. As opposed to those pre-printed frames like we used on that other one, you could use the paper. And I noticed we've not used a lot of that darker pattern other than for our borders. In fact, I haven't used any of it except for cutting those borders with. I have absolutely none of that left. Oh, wait a minute. There's one. A little bit big for a pocket, so let's cut this one. Let's cut this one. I know what I want to do. Let's cut this one at a diagonal. And remember, cutting at a diagonal, we're going to go in the center and go up one direction and then back the other way to cut it apart so our blade doesn't hang up. And then let's move this one up so we can get our tear and tape in here. And I want to use both of these sides, leaving the longer side open. Get our punchies off of here. I don't know if I can. I think I have glue dots on there. I think I have permanent glue dots. So let's make this one work this way. Now we're going to have some over there to get rid of. And if you notice, I'm working on a silicone mat. It really comes in handy when working with adhesives. We have one that we sell that is 6x6 that is perfect for little stuff. I used it yesterday and it's now buried on my work table somewhere. So there you go. And I'm going to go ahead and trim this one off and get rid of that little green dot. Be nice that little green dot came with the paper, but it's not going to. Okay. And let's stick this one down in this corner and up along that edge. Now, you'll see that there's a little bit of glue residue there. If you can't get it to scrape out of the way, hit it with a little bit of baby powder or talcum powder, and that will take care of that. Now we have another tuck for here. Perfect for tucking in a 4x6 photo. How's that one for quick remedy? And then we've got that one. I really love this marble paper. This one you could do a 5x7 photo and then put in a sheet over here to do journaling on about your story. So it doesn't have to be all about a junk journal per se. It can be, that's one I put in there upside down. There we go. Because I want my flowers going right side up. This one I'll play with. This was our other tag. We did the tear pockets here, the belly band, and some of those larger pieces. Belly bands are a great way to break up a full solid page. I love the way this one turned out with that fussy cut edition. I really like that one. Let's see, I put this in here a little quick. This one I'll probably put a photo in, and I will probably mat it with Very Vanilla, and then put a photo on there, and then my cover page. So we have lots of things to continue to add to this. We have more bling. I'll have whole reinforcements to go back and add. I have these pages to go ahead and add in, but I'm not going to do that on camera because they're just doing the same thing we've been doing. I'll just go back and adhere them into place, add embellishments, add my spines, and get those done. And that's going to be what I work on while this is uploading this afternoon. Okay, so one more thing I want to talk about really fast. I went over it a little bit earlier. Is the Everything is Rosy suite. This is what we are going to be working with in May. It is an all collective piece. It's called the Everything is Rosy Medley, and you're going to get just about everything you need to put together a journal. You're going to get the basics. And when you break this down into price, you're saving about $40 over having to buy these things individually. You are going to get the Everything is Rosy polymer stamp set, the coordinating dies. There are 10 dies in the set. 6x6 pattern paper. You're going to get 8 each of 6 double-sided pages. That comes out to be, I think they said 2 of each of it if you were to buy it 12x12. 6x6 rose gold foil, and there are 8 sheets of that rose gold. 2 sheets of pre-printed die cuts. 4 sheets of rose gold die cuts, 2 each of 2 designs. Rose gold adhesive backed mirror embellishments. There are 60 of those. Melon Mambo ruched ribbon, which is really super pretty. Night of Navy rose gold metallic edged ribbon. There's 10 yards of each of the 2 ribbons. And a 1/2 ounce bottle of the rose gold shimmer paint. Now, that's $80 plus your tax and shipping. If you go in and add, and I had the basic black album on here, but we are not going to do the album this next time. We're going to do a stitched album next time. So you won't need the album, but you may want to add, if you don't have it in your stash, you will want Night of Navy cardstock, Melon Mambo cardstock, Petal Pink cardstock, and Whisper White. So if you have any of the Petal Pink left over from this journal, that's fine. That should be enough of what you need. Because it's not one of the main colors in the kit, so we're just going to add it as an accent to the Melon Mambo. Then you're going to need the multi-purpose liquid glue, the tear and tape adhesive, and the mini dimensionals that we did not use this time, but we will be using them on the die cuts. You're also going to want to add an aqua painter. Let me grab mine really quick if you don't know what an aqua painter is. And I have several around here, and this one is not my Stampin' Up! One, but they all work the same. And all it is a tube that you can put a liquid in, and it's got a brush. Now we will be putting rubbing alcohol in here with a few drops of the shimmer paint. So you're going to want to have one of these. Also a mister bottle. And again, mine aren't Stampin' Up, but I have some here. A mister bottle. And you can buy these through Stampin' Up, or you can pick them up at Hobby Lobby. They come, I think, 3 to a package. So you're going to want those. And I'm going to leave that empty one out, so I'll have it handy. And I think that's it. Now, if you were to add these items to your order, you would have enough to get Hostess rewards. And if you don't, you just order just what you need, and you don't have $150 in merchandise to qualify for Hostess rewards, then you're going to want to use the Hostess code. And when you use, whether you use the Hostess code or you place a full $150 plus order, you will get a bonus item, and that is going to be an embossing folder. I'm not sure. I've got to check and make sure the one I want to use is still available. So I won't tell you that when we will talk about the specific embossing folder next Friday when I do the beginning video for the intro video for the next project. And I'll have that embossing folder to show you, and it is yours free if you purchase either the Everything Rosy kit or and things that you need to go, or if you place a $150 plus order and get Hostess credits, you will still get the embossing folder from me free, because the technique we are going to use with that embossing folder are awesome. So you might also want to look in your embossing folders and see what you have that might match our Everything is Rosy paper. So I know today's been a long video. I hope you've enjoyed this journey with me through the Petal Promenade Sweet Sweet Journal project. I'm looking forward to doing Everything is Rosy. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I'm trying to build my channel up, or share this video out on social media and let others come play with us. Also, please subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing new names pop up on my rotation of so-and-so has joined my channel, and I love to be able to welcome you to my channel. And if you don't want to miss any future videos, click the little bell down at the bottom, and you'll be notified when new videos go up by me. Thanks for joining me today, and creative blessings.